So my name is Mike Flores. I run Mike's AirBrush. So we've been in business since I think 14 years now in Puebla. We do pretty much everything. We do airbrushing, so we just do whatever people bring in. Usually it's like helmets or shirts, that kind of stuff. So me and my wife run it together. She handles most of the orders and that kind of stuff, yeah. Yeah, it makes it easier. So I've said the story many times. This is called the jellyfish story because it all goes back to a jellyfish. And we were visiting my brother when I was younger. He was in the Air Force. So we were visiting him out in Mississippi, and he took us down to Pensacola Beach. And when we were out there, there was a guy airbrushing on the beach, but I didn't really pay too much attention. Didn't really quite even notice what he was doing. I just heard the sound, right? The air. Yeah, and but I ended up, we were playing in the water or whatever. I ended up getting stung by a jellyfish. Yeah, it fucking hurts. A crazy like burn that doesn't stop. So we're sitting on the beach and I'm stung, so people are trying to figure out what to do with me, you know, and people are like, oh, you gotta pee on him and all this stuff. I was like, nah, nobody's peeing on me, man. So I ended up just like sitting there and just like waiting it out basically on the beach. But while I was sitting there being stung by this jellyfish, I again hear the sound, and I, you know, start walking over there, and I see a guy airbrushing, and he was doing t-shirts on a stand on the beach, and that's kind of what made me forget about my whole jellyfish situation. Like, what's that? And once I was watching him, you know, you get kind of entranced. I'd never seen anything like that before, so I was sitting there watching him paint, and it made me forget about the whole jellyfish thing. So that's how I knew that I wanted to learn to airbrush. And then my same brother that we were visiting, and another time when he was on leave, he actually went to visit us instead of us going to him. So he came back home for leave, and that's when he brought an airbrush kit along with them. And that's how I got started. I don't know if it was strictly for me or whatever, but because he was trying to learn too. But when he left to go back to the Air Force, you know, because they only get like 6 weeks or whatever, he left it behind. So, and then when he would try to like use it, you know, he'd try to include me and stuff. But honestly, we didn't even know what we were doing back then. I had no idea. But that's how it started, yeah. I had to have been like 12, maybe 11. And I'm 30, I'm gonna turn 39 or turn 40 this year. I'm 39 now. So that was a while ago. I knew I wanted to use it because it made my, like, I was into drawing and stuff already. But I know I wanted to use it because it makes like the shading and all kinds of stuff like look so good. And yeah, it took a lot of practice and a lot of learning to really like be like, okay, this is what I want to do. In the beginning, it was just because I just wanted to paint stuff. I didn't really think about it like a job or nothing. I like a lot of people's artwork. There's I don't know, back then, I didn't really have anything to look at to be like that person. But once I started kind of going and I wanted to do t-shirts, I remember in the beginning that was because that's what I saw the guy doing, and he was doing the names and stuff. And I remember looking through the magazines, and there was that Kent Lind. He does t-shirts, and he's always done t-shirts. And I remember just kind of looking at him, and I was like, yeah, like his designs were always so colorful and they looked really good. And that was one of the people, I guess, in the beginning that I was just kind of like, yeah, I like his designs. But then, yeah, like I didn't really have too many, like I didn't really pay attention too much to other people's stuff other than t-shirts. But now, like now that I've gotten into more like artwork type stuff like this again, in the past like maybe 10 years or whatever, there's quite a few people out there that their artwork really shines, you know. So they spend a lot of time, but it shines. There's like, you know, like Steve Leahy, Gerald Mendez, you know, Jonathan Pantaleone. They're just talking about him. Those kind of guys. They all got their own like unique look, but when you see it, it's like, yeah, it's like, whoa, you know. I know when we do the t-shirts, it's always cool to see just the people's faces. That's probably one of the most rewarding parts of it, is that when you like paint a t-shirt, you know, and then you go to the next one, because they, you know, you're doing like 20 minutes and you knock it out and you send it out. But a lot of the people, when they come and they pick it up and you know, this is your shirt, and, oh my God, yeah, like that's kind of one of the, still to this day, it's like, oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, the happiness it can bring to people, for sure. It's I don't want to say it's like exciting, but it can be exciting. It could be fun. So like I said, it's just Mike's Airbrush. We run a website too called mikesairbrush.com. So if you want to order like an airbrush shirt, you could order it directly from there. And then, yeah, if you look us up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we're really big on YouTube. So yeah, we do live streams, and then I do like how-to videos. And so if somebody wants to just, you know, call or text, it's like 720-288-3159. We give it shout out to Createx Colors, because they help us out with a lot with the paint. So shout out to Createx, and that's pretty much it.